Okay, now the second award that I get to hand out is the 2019 AKCHO Virginia Marie Folkins Award. And that is presented to someone you all know, Paul Dorpat and Jean Sherrard, for their book, Seattle Now and Then, The Historic 100. Give Paul a round of applause. Paul's going to stay right there. When I get done with the intro, we're going to bring a mic over to him. Paul, you don't know this, but for my birthday in about 1995, what I wanted was your book. And you had in your Seattle Times column your address you could write to you, if I recall correctly. And I wrote and you had to send you a check. This was like before the internet really got going. You mailed it to me in a big brown manila envelope. 2 books, I think. You had 2 books.
I didn't cheat on you.
No, you didn't. You mailed it. You didn't keep the check without quick. You sent it to me, and I love it. And we all remember and enjoy the then and now, right, column in the newspaper, which has really brought the history of Seattle to so many more people, people that wouldn't pick up a history book or go to a museum, but there it is in the paper, and they say, oh, I know that spot, and then they get to see what it was or see how it is today. And it is just an inspiring compilation of a lifetime, really, of documenting Seattle's history, and you did it just because you wanted to do it.
I didn't make any money.
You didn't make any money. I know. So, you know, Paul has received recognition from, you know, Mayor Nichols and Norm Rice, who love the materials. I love the materials. I love watching. If you haven't seen, he did a series of videos that you can watch, I think, on YouTube on occasion, where they sit in the cafe and talk. And it's just a neat little insight into the history of this community that wouldn't have been captured but for this man's work, his dedication and commitment in going out and bringing that history to life today. And it's just very special work, Paul, and we are also grateful for it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I want to add something. There's been 4 of these books. Seattle Now and Then's, and this 4th one, I didn't have much to do except I did, of course, do the preparatory work on it by writing the articles and hunting up the pictures. But it was really Jean Sherrard, my partner in the repeat photography. Jean, stand up.
See, Jean doesn't have the beard and the hat.
And Clay Eals, another old co-conspirator. Where's Clay? Stand up, Clay. So I'm going to now ask all questions be directed to them.
Sounds like you're retiring. All right, do you gentlemen want to say a couple of words? Hand the mic.
Well, this is actually a celebration of Paul. And as you all know, he did win the AKCHO Lifetime Achievement Award, I think about 10 years ago, so he had to follow up somehow. But
If you said that, they'll take this one away.
out of your cold, dead hands, Paul. I've been working with Paul since about 2004, and we did a book called Washington Then and Now. And after that, I started taking pictures for the column. But all told, Paul started in 1982, and his column total, we did a rough count, and it's over 1,700 columns over that 37 years. And as far as we can tell, there is no other ongoing, certainly weekly history in the country that has had such a long run. And Paul, who turned 80 last year, is we went through and spent the last few years choosing our favorite columns. And for Paul, his only complaint was that all 1,700 columns were equal in his eyes. It was like trying to choose between children. And so he was a little bit reluctant to say these were his favorites. But we did find a number that we all agreed on were passable. So thank you very much, and we celebrate Mr. Dorpat and his 37 years.
You can still order the book on Amazon, right? still getting it.
Paul wants to say something else.
Paul, you
I
want to say?
wanted Clay to add something.
Oh, Clay's gonna ask. Is Clay the guy behind the camera on your chat
Clay's
series?
right over there, he's the editor of the book.
Okay.
And has done a lot of books himself, and he's a tough editor. And it's remarkable that he's kept friendship, given.
That's a high compliment, Paul. It's been a joy to work with these guys and be, Jean says I shouldn't say this anymore, but attached at the hip. We've, since October 28th and Paul turned 80, we've had 30 events. We have another one coming up next week, and those of you in the audience who have not hosted an event by Jean and Paul, please contact us because we'd love to come out to wherever you are.
See, I didn't know he was going to do that.
The book is a real joy. It's a real joy, and as Paul likes to say in the presentations, it's not just a historical book in the sense of you see older photos and a comparison to now. It is a snapshot of what we are now. And when you think about it, the nows very soon become thens. Paul's been doing this since 1982, and all of the photos in the book were repeated just in the last year or so by Jean in beautiful color, because a lot of Paul's nows are now thens, as you know. One of my favorite phrases is, every car on the road is a used car. It applies to photos too. Anyway, back to Paul. Thank you.